So you can clearly see that people are moving away from drinking alcohol, and speaking to some manufacturers, we all know that non-alcoholic beverages are becoming more popular, which is why liquor boards are starting to think about selling non-alcoholic beverages as well, just to actually keep up with their government's expectations when it comes to dividends. And so that's where we're at right now. But clearly, I think Canadians are drinking less. And there are several issues, of course. One is price. You don't need to drink to survive. So obviously, people are just cutting back. Two, I think the health factor is an important one. I think people are concerned. There are more studies out there. I'm not a medical doctor personally, but I've actually read some of the recent reports about alcohol consumption, and yeah, we have a clearer idea of what are the health implications if you drink too much. And so I think people are starting to realize that perhaps it's time to cut back.
On this episode of the Don't Change Much podcast, we're joined by Dr. Sylvain Charlebois, widely known as the food professor. Dr. Charlebois is a professor of food distribution and policy at Dalhousie University and the director of the Agri-Food Analytics Lab. He is an expert in the agri-food sector, offering insights that directly affect how we shop, eat, and live healthier lives. Today, we'll dive into key cultural shifts shaping Canadian health and wellness, the decline in alcohol consumption, the rise of cannabis as an alternative, and how these trends extend to our nutrition habits. Why are more men drinking less? How are these choices impacting how we view healthy living? Dr. Charlebois will help us unpack how these cultural changes are shaping what we eat, drink, and prioritize for a healthier life. I'm your host, Dan Murphy, and this is the Don't Change Much podcast.
You're seeing a different picture from one generation to another. The younger generations are absolutely getting their alcohol fix in another way, I guess. And of course, the legalization of cannabis is probably something that is being, I would say, socialized. But also, I think they're just probably moving away from drugs and alcohol altogether and just doing other things than just drinking and smoking.